So good morning. Thank you all for joining today. I'm Arnie Jacobson, Director of the Schatz Energy Research Center at Cal Poly Humboldt, and I have the honor of being the MC for today's event. As you all know, we're here to celebrate the completion of the Redwood Coast Airport Microgrid. I want to start with just a quick safety tip, which is sunscreen. Today's a good day to get a sunburn. So this project was very much a team effort, and today's speakers include many of our key partners. In addition to key partners, we've also invited speakers whose organizations are beneficiaries of the services provided by the microgrid, as well as representatives from organizations that are currently playing or will soon play in the near future important roles in microgrid deployment and use. So it's a great lineup of speakers, and I'm excited to get started. I want to start by introducing Jason Ramos, who's a member of the Blue Lake Rancheria Tribal Council. Jason and the Blue Lake Rancheria are leaders in clean and resilient energy, and they were named White House Climate Action Champions during the Obama administration. And what they've done since then makes them deserving twice over of that recognition. They've been among our closest partners, and it's an honor to have Jason open the session and provide welcoming remarks. So Jason, please join.
Right up here. Good morning, everybody. I'm Jason Ramos. I'm a tribal council member for the Blue Lake Rancheria tribe. I'm also the tribe's tribal administrator. I want to first welcome the California Public Utilities Commission, the California Energy Commission, the California Independent Operators, Independent System Operators, our county governmental officials, our good friends at Cal Poly Humboldt, and our local tribal representatives. So welcome. We gather here today on unceded Wiyot lands. These lands were taken from the Wiyot peoples without their consent and without just compensation to their sovereign governments. So we acknowledge that here today. But we're not here today to discuss conflict, but rather we're here in the spirit of cooperation. We gather here today to celebrate this technological achievement and its climate and regional resiliency benefits. And second, to acknowledge the gravity and significance of the situation, that when we work together, how powerful we really are and the things that we can achieve together. As most of you know, the Blue Lake Rancheria's microgrid was the pilot project for this California Redwood Coast Airport project. But what the general public doesn't know is that these microgrid projects are not easy. They're difficult. They're risky projects. They're technically and financially difficult. At the community scale, they represent new technology, and new technology presents a whole host of unknown problems that have to be solved. And so the County of Humboldt should be praised for its leadership in this area, for taking the leap in developing this low carbon project. So congratulations. We should also be tremendously thankful that we live in a progressive and economically powerful state. With agencies like the CEC and the CPUC, those agencies had the foresight to plan and develop programs and maximize the solar resources in our state. And for local agencies like the Redwood Coast Energy Authority, who always act as facilitators on these projects. Our utility partners have also stepped up. In developing this airport project, PG&E has facilitated the first front-of-the-line multi-customer microgrid in California, the very first one. And they also have a community microgrid enablement program that encourages microgrid investment wherever they provide power. And from my experience in our microgrid, they were great partners, and they really went out of their way to help accommodate us so we could finish that project. Tesla too. Now we own a number of Tesla batteries, and that's been a wonderful company to work with. Their engineers are second to none, and they're very responsive to their customers. You know, these microgrid projects are pretty dreamy. They sound like good ideas. I remember when we sat around, Peter, and we talked about it, and it sounded like a good idea, right? But that's all it is a good idea. Without the engineering horsepower that Cal Poly Humboldt's Schatz Energy Research Center brings, none of these projects get completed. The engineers at Schatz are simply the most talented community-scale microgrid engineers on the planet, and they do much more than that. They do biomass, they do waste streams, they do biodiesel. They helped my tribe with the biodiesel project, and now they're in offshore wind. They have set the standard of excellence in applied science at the university as it transitions into a polytechnic. They have always been pioneers in their research interests, first in hydrogen, now in microgrid technology, and we all hope soon in offshore wind. And having such a powerful anchor institution, such as Cal Poly Humboldt, remains one of this county's greatest assets, and they've become a great partner to our area local tribes. So welcome, everybody. Today we congratulate each other and we celebrate this great achievement. But we're also going to do something else here today too. We're going to pledge to remember. We're going to remember how we came together and how we leveraged our collective strength to be tremendously powerful and complete these projects. And in the future, when we face these challenges, we're going to remember that that's the way we solve them. So thank you for being here today. Welcome, and it's a great honor for me to be here today.
Thank you very much, Jason. Our next speaker is Richard Engel, Director of Power Resources at the Redwood Coast Energy Authority. We've worked with RCEA for over 15 years on efforts related to the transformation of our regional energy system. This project is the latest, and I might say the greatest, example of the Repower Humboldt vision that we've been working on together. RCEA has been a true leader in our region and in California more broadly, and I especially appreciate their willingness to take bold steps towards a cleaner and more resilient energy future. It's my pleasure to welcome Richard to the stage.
Thank you, Arnie. Thank you, Jason. Great to see all of you here today. I'm actually standing in for our Executive Director, Matthew Marshall, who unfortunately is not able to be with us today. The main thing he wanted me to convey in speaking to you this morning is check out the blue light behind me. It's a little blue light on the cabinet back there. And that means something. It means that as of early this morning, the system has been deliberately transitioned over from its grid-connected mode to islanding mode, which is really exciting. It means that all the loads at the airport here are being supported entirely by local clean resources today. How cool is that? And not only that, but the capacity of the system in supporting these on-site loads is such that that we've calculated that the system could run from now through October just on those resources without having to reconnect to the grid or start up any fossil fuel backup generation, which is just really speaks well to the design and capability of the people who put this system together for us, which is the Schatz Energy Research Center leading the way on that. I'm super excited about that partnership with Schatz. Having worked there myself in the past, being an alum of Schatz, just really does my heart good to see the great accomplishments that Schatz has gone on to do in partnership with us. I also want to really acknowledge another really important partnership going on here, which is the partnership between Redwood Coast Energy Authority, where I work, which is, among other things, a community choice aggregator, one of a couple dozen of them in California now, and Pacific Gas and Electric, the local investor-owned utility serving Northern California. The relationship between community choice aggregators and investor-owned utilities is often portrayed as an adversarial one. And it can be. We are, in effect, competing to provide generation services to the same customers. But really, it has to be a partnership because assuming a CCA like us exists, we do rely on PG&E to deliver the electricity, to provide billing services, to provide a whole host of services that, in partnership with the CCA, make this all work and keep customers served. So in our case, I think this project points to a way that partnership between community choice energy programs and investor-owned utilities can go much deeper to actually designing the clean grid of the future, like we're demonstrating here today. I think that my role at RCEA is Director of Power Resources, which means that I coordinate the small group that does day-to-day operations of our Community Choice Energy Program. And we, in doing that, seek to build a long-term portfolio of clean energy resources. So there's really three objectives that we have to balance in doing that. One is clean, decarbonizing the grid. Another is reliability, making sure that the lights stay on all the time. And the third is affordability. We have to do all of those things. And I think with this microgrid, clearly the reliability, is front and center on this, and that's like I'm saying that this system can keep the lights on for months on end if needed. The decarbonization, clearly this is a zero emission microgrid with solar as the generating resource and batteries making that energy available around the clock. Affordability, I think that's where another important partnership comes in, which is the California Energy Commission funded nearly half the cost of this project. That means the balance of the costs, which ultimately need to be borne by our ratepayers, is much more affordable for our customers than it would be without that assist from the Energy Commission. So we're just really excited about that. So with that, I just want to thank everybody for being out here today and helping us celebrate this great accomplishment and all the different partners that have helped make it happen. Thank you very much.
So as Richard mentioned, this project was funded by the California Energy Commission, and we're grateful for that support. I'm pleased to welcome Commissioner Courtney Vaccaro to the stage. Commissioner Vaccaro is serving her first term on the California Energy Commission. Governor Gavin Newsom appointed Commissioner Vaccaro in March 2022, so just a few months ago, to serve as the Commission's attorney member. So please join me in welcoming Courtney Vaccaro.
Thank you, Arnie, and good morning, everyone. I am Courtney Vaccaro, Commissioner at the California Energy Commission, and it is my great pleasure to be able to be here this morning to not only celebrate with you the airport microgrid, but really to recognize the innovation, the commitment, the partnership, and the community coming together to create the circumstances to enable the microgrid to come to fruition. So, and it's also gratifying, right, that the Energy Commission was able to invest $5 million into this project. So over the years, the Energy Commission has invested in probably about 62 microgrids across a diverse array of applications, whether it's residential, commercial, industrial, campus, community. And I think what we all know for sure is that microgrids play a very important role in the state's clean energy transition, in energy equity, and also allowing us to combat the effects of climate change. And I think that perhaps more importantly, in regions and communities, they can broaden access to clean, reliable, and resilient energy. They provide an important tool for managing electricity system risks during emergencies, including wildfires. And I think really importantly, for rural and transmission-constrained communities, we've seen that they can be a lifeline. So now, with RCAM, the state has a new model for what microgrids can be and what they can do. And the RCAM will no doubt pave the way for replication and serve as a test bed for tackling both the technical and the non-technical aspects of microgrid deployment. And at the same time, the project partners and community that conceived of and brought RCAM into being have provided a model of leadership, perseverance, and commitment that is a testament to the power of local communities to shape their clean energy future in a way that aligns with their unique needs, their priorities, and their values. So with that, I'll close, and again, congratulate all of you for this incredible achievement. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Vaccaro. I'm now pleased to welcome California Public Utilities Commissioner Genevieve Sharoma to speak. Commissioner Sharoma is the lead commissioner on both the CPUC's Microgrids and Resilience rulemaking and EPIC rulemaking. In the context of these activities, she is working on creating opportunities for both customers and utilities to leverage microgrids with equity as a focal point. These efforts involve working to expand opportunities for R&D innovation and deployment of microgrid systems and similar technologies in disadvantaged communities. Please join me in welcoming Commissioner Sharoma.
Oops. Okay, I'm shorter. Okay, here we go. Good morning, everyone. It is a real honor to be with you to celebrate this major accomplishment and in recognition of the lands that it resides upon. As already mentioned, I'm privileged to be the lead commissioner at the California Public Utilities Commission on the Microgrids and Resilience Program and the EPIC Research and Development Program. Thrilled to be here for the ribbon cutting. You know, this program demonstrates the connections between these programs. We talk at the CPUC at breaking down the silos of all the various programs that we work on there, to work with our sister agencies to garner synergies. And really, this program today exemplifies a very successful effort on those very important viewpoints of, again, breaking down the silos. The remarks here today are from our tribal leaders, academics, essential services, local governments, and the local utility, PG&E, and also the CCA, who we just heard from. This is such an important type of collaboration, and we're looking to scale programs like this to other parts of the state, other parts of Humboldt County. We have the Microgrid Incentive Program, which is geared, as Arnie said, towards providing equity in disadvantaged communities where maybe they don't have as many resources as other areas of the state, and to provide for an opportunity to garner some funding for successful creation of microgrids. The tariff and technologies developed for this microgrid are a model. I'm really excited about it. I was really pleased to hear how the technology works, how it interacts with the Rockland PG&E Center, how the folks who are operating this microgrid are very knowledgeable. They understand the technology, which is very complicated, and that this islanding can be done in a very short period of time. And there are all sorts of automatic sensors and what have you that are built into the system. So congratulations on a wonderful project. I'm very excited for the success for this community, and thank you for having me here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sharoma. So our next speaker is Quin Nakayama, Director of Integrated Grid Planning and Innovation at PG&E. Quin and his colleagues at PG&E have been fantastic partners for this project. As a collaborating partner, PG&E has brought deep expertise, a commitment to quality and safety, and an innovative spirit to this project and others that we've worked on them with. We look forward to the next opportunity to work together. So please welcome Quin Nakayama to the stage.
All right, we're going to try this out. I don't have notes here. We're going to see if I can wing it. I'm not all that comfortable underneath the podium, but, I just want to say thank you to everybody for being here. My name is Quin. I'm the Director for Integrated Grid Planning and Innovation at PG&E, where our general motto is, if it's a crazy idea, let's bring it on. And wow, can you imagine? Behind us is California's very first 100% renewable, 100% inverter-based, community-enabled, resilient for this community of Humboldt, for that airport, auto-islanding microgrid here in the state. And that is an amazing accomplishment for all of us. But you can't do something of this nature by yourself. At PG&E, we had a different type of approach that we call the one PG&E approach. You take a little bit of customer, you take a little bit of regulatory, you take a little bit of legal, you take a little bit of engineering, you take a little bit of innovation, you cram them all together, and you can accomplish great things. But I tell you, even there, it's not enough for us to be able to make a project such as this work. You need a one energy ecosystem. The California Public Utility Commission, the California Energy Commission, SHOTS Energy providing their level of expertise, RCEA to provide so much of their help in this matter, TRC, Tesla, PG&E coming together to be able to do amazing things. That is the only way that these type of projects and these type of innovations will work for what is to come. And it's not just the innovation that you see behind us here. It's also the innovations that came from this project. For those of you who take a look, you can go into the Jet Propulsion Lab, JPL's website on NASA, that talks about what came about from sending people to space. And the innovations that came out of our desire to be able to touch the moon. Things like memory foam, wireless headsets, cameras that can fit in the size of your pocket on your smartphone, which my wife now likes to take like 50 pictures in 5 minutes with my kids. I mean, that's a different story. And think about the innovations that came from this program. Inverter-based protection schemes, operating parameters for microgrids, the Microgrid Operating Agreement, the Community Microgrid Enablement Tariff. Out of that was born the Community Microgrid Enablement Program. Out of that was born the world's very first microgrid incentive program for $200 million to go towards kickstarting microgrid enterprises across the entire state for those that need it the most. To not only provide renewable, clean energy for when the grid needs it the most, on solar, on energy storage, but also providing resilience for the most critical of customers and for those disadvantaged communities who have that desperate need for energy resiliency. However, I do want to state this. It's not enough. It's not enough. And the reason why I say this is I drove up here on the 101 to get here yesterday, and it was 101 degrees. Climate change is here. It's getting worse. High degrees of temperature, high degrees of rain, high degrees of temperature, we're seeing it. And as I was driving up the coast, I noticed beautiful forest. You know what I also noticed? Patch marked of dead trees throughout that entire forest. Bark beetles have devastated our ecosystem from these drought conditions. Rising temperatures are going to continue to create challenges for how we can safely and reliably deliver electricity to everybody here in the state. And it's growing faster than we can innovate. We need to do more. We need to do faster, and we need to do stronger. You know, one of my favorite TV shows in the entire world is this political fantasy called West Wing, written by Aaron Sorkin. And in that show, he talks about, to his chief of staff, after doing a hard day's work on social policy to try to make the world a better place, he goes to his chief of staff and goes, Leo, okay, so what's next? So I leave you with this. Congratulations, Commission. Congratulations, CEC. Congratulations, RCEA, Shots Energy. Congratulations, Tesla. We have accomplished something amazing here. And it's with your partnership that we were able to make this happen. But I'll leave you with this. Okay. So, what's next? Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Quin, and we are thinking about what's next. So Cody Rogatz is the Director of Aviation for Humboldt County. As the director of the host site for the microgrid, Cody has played a key role in making this project a success, including a really, really important role in helping navigate the team through the Federal Aviation Administration's permitting process, which was no small thing. We couldn't have done this project without you, Cody. Please come up to the stage.
Arnie, I just want to say the next time we do this, I'd like to follow Commissioner Sharoma. We're of similar stature, and I certainly don't have Quin's energy. Quin, that was great. Thank you. One housekeeping thing, you may have noticed we're a little bit short on parking out here, and I'll touch on that before I get to the end. We had you parking along the fence line here, and we ran out. Some of you parked, the latecomers, up in the main parking lot. We'll have somebody validating as you walk out of this overflow lot here. So just find somebody in a reflective vest, and they will validate your parking in the paid lot there. I just wanted to say thank you. Thanks to Arnie for that introduction. And we have some very important people that were supportive throughout this whole process over the last 3.5 years. Starting with Chair Bass, unfortunately, she didn't listen to my advice, and she's not running again. But thank you, Chair Bass, for all of your support over the last 3.5 years on this project. We also have Supervisor Wilson from the Arcata area. Mike, thank you very much for all of your support. Mike was part of some very critical times throughout the last 3.5 years, and really helping Peter over at Shots and RCEA not kill me in the process and keep their patience with the FAA processes that Arnie mentioned. CAO Hayes and the entire county team. CAO Hayes is essentially the CEO of a 2,500 member team at the County of Humboldt, so thank you so much. Sitting next to her out there, I see Assistant CAO Karen Clower. So Karen is our liaison for the Department of Aviation. We're a very small department, a small but mighty team out here. Oftentimes, I speak with Karen and I'll call her up and say, hey, Karen, I have this crazy idea. This was one of them. And she'll say, what are you thinking? Cody, we can't do that. And she'll very quickly turn to, okay, how do we make this happen? So Karen, thank you for that open mindset. We do have a lot of crazy ideas out here in aviation. So Peter, I see him sitting front and center. Peter, please, when you come up, you're the grand finale. Show everybody your smile. When Peter and I first met, it took a bit to get to that smile because Peter wanted to kick this project off in spring of 2019. I started in the fall of 2018, and I met with Peter my first or second day on the job, and he was very enthusiastic with his team, and he said, we're going to start this in the spring of 2019. I had to tell him, we're not going to start it in the spring of 2019, Peter, because we have thousands of pages of documents to provide to the FAA and a lot of homework to do. We did it, and thank you, Peter, and the entire team over there at Shots, including Dave Carter, Jim Zolik, Steve Richards, and Dana Bedreau is out here. I know Matthew wasn't able to join us, but that team at RCEA, we're working with them and Shots on the next steps moving forward, including that parking lot. We have plans over the next 2 years to drastically expand that parking lot and make that resilient as we have our airfield as well through our EV charging stations, and also looking into what we do in the future for EV charging of aircraft, as that's the next wave in aviation. Lastly, I just want to say thank you to my team that have supported me throughout this: Kathy Canepa, Kurt Eicherman, Lucinda Jackson, and we have Armstrong Engineering here, and we're meeting with them in Shots tomorrow to figure out what the next steps are for this airport. So thank you everyone for joining us today and the support throughout.
Thank you, Cody. So our next speaker is Dan Bratton, the Regional Vice President for California for CalOr Life Flight and Reach. The CalOr Life Flight service is an incredibly important one for our region. They provide about 700 flights per year to support people with urgent medical needs. I personally know several people who have relied on these flights during medical emergencies, and I'm sure that there are many of you here who do the same. So Daniel, thank you for to you and your colleagues for providing this important life-saving service.
Well, thanks everyone, and honored to be here. And by the way, Quin, if you speak like that without notes, I'd hate to see you with notes. So it's a honor to be here. I'm representing Reach, CalOr Life Flight. Also, some of you may know, we also acquired City Ambulance in Arcata Med River and provide the ground service in Humboldt County. I learned to fly. I'm born and raised in Fortuna. I don't live here now, but I have fond memories of this airport back in the 70s and flying in and out of here. This is the crown jewel of aviation on the North Coast. And in our business, as most of you probably know, I'm sure a lot of pilots out in the audience, excuse me, our business, we never know when we're going to get called to fly. And we're out at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And as many of you have, of course, ridden in here on the airline, it's not always like this. And so having the systems that we have here, Cody and his team do a magnificent job of keeping this airport up to shape for us and being able to shoot approaches in here, 200 feet, half a mile. And I can't tell you what it's like breaking out at 3:30 in the morning and seeing those runway lights line up and being able to come in and land. And more importantly, to be able to serve the patients in Humboldt County. So this effort behind us, again, is another asset to making sure these services are here. And this airport, again, is what makes it all happen. As Cody said, we provide probably more like 800-900 flights a year. So we have an aircraft based here. We have 3 aircraft up in Crescent City. We have aircraft in Redding. We have aircraft in Willits, Ukiah, and Lakeport. And so it's kind of a collective group. And so we do scene calls with helicopters, obviously interfacility transports from hospitals to hospital for higher level care. And again, I just appreciate all the work that's been done with this project. And more importantly, I think going into the future, Quin said it best, we need to keep doing things like this to ensure that we have these viable assets in the community. So we appreciate all the support the community gives us as well, and our teams also really enjoy providing that service to you. So thanks very much.
So next, I'm pleased to invite Linnea Jackson, Managing Director of the Hoopa Valley Tribe's Public Utilities District, to provide remarks. Over the past few years, we've had multiple conversations with Linnea, Tribal Council Chair Joe Davis, and others at the Hoopa Valley Tribe about the importance of improving electricity reliability in the Hoopa Valley and possibilities to collaborate on a project to make progress. We're looking forward to opportunities to work together. I think Quin asked what's next. There's lots of what's next, and I think this conversation is a what's next conversation. So it's my honor and pleasure to be able to welcome Linnea Jackson to say a few words.
Okay, unlike Quin, I have some notes. I told him how inspiring that was, so every speaker's been great. Good afternoon, good morning. My name is Linnea Jackson. I'm the General Manager with Hoopa Valley Public Utilities. I'm standing in for Chairman Davis today. Hoopa Valley Public Utilities provides many of the foundational infrastructure within Hoopa. We provide domestic water, irrigation, solid waste management, and broadband services. We have a long-standing lack of connectivity and resource development within the valley. So energy resiliency pretty much impacts every utility function that we have. Our ability to provide emergency services and those essential services that our community relies on. Hoopa, if you've never been there, is a beautiful rural forested area. We are located in a Tier 2, Tier 3 fire threat district, so we are impacted by PSPS events. We have inclement weather outages where this past winter we had a huge storm, as Humboldt County knows. I believe it took out at least 19 poles on our one line that comes into the valley. We had residents that were without power for 2 weeks. So Hoopa, the climate ranges from extreme heat, it's over 100 today, and it also falls below freezing. So when we are most impacted, it's usually within one of the hot to cold ranges. So having energy for heating and cooling is absolutely essential. It also has a great impact to our vulnerable population, which are our elders, our youth, our children, and those that are medically vulnerable that need, heating and cooling for medicines, breathing machines, things of that nature. So there's a PG&E substation located in Hoopa, which also serves our downriver and upriver communities. So it's not just impacting to our tribal lands, it's the adjacent tribal communities of the Yurok and the Karuk tribes. So we talk about what's next. We've submitted a grant application to the BIA EDMP. We are awaiting award on that. So the tribe is seeking design and analysis funding. We are working proudly in partnership with SHOTS, PG&E, RCEA, and of course our neighboring tribes. So we're really hoping to create some resiliency within that district because it impacts the whole region. With that, I'm just so proud of being a part of this game-changing event. I mean, it's absolutely amazing what we're doing here on the North Coast within Humboldt County, and the Hoopa Valley Tribe hopes to be a part of that continued success. So hopefully in several years, we will be doing the same event within our tribal community. So let's bring that to fruition. And I'm just so proud to be even a small part of this. And like Quin said, we cannot do this alone. It's not just the tribes. It's our utility investor, owned investors. It's Cal Poly Humboldt and SHOTS. It's RCEA, and it's all the experts here and the community to support these efforts. So again, thank you very much, and I'm proud to be here. Thanks, Barry.
Thank you, Linnea, and I think you'll play more than a small role. President Tom Jackson joined what was then Humboldt State University in the summer of 2019. Although he's only been at the university for 3 years, his bold and effective leadership has made a real difference at the university. He and the team he recruited initiated a process that has led to us becoming Cal Poly Humboldt. And it's hard to overemphasize how big that is, not just for the university, but for our region. The becoming Cal Poly Humboldt has brought substantial new resources and new opportunities to the university and to the region, and we're just getting started. So please join me in welcoming President Jackson to the stage.
Thank you, Arnie, for reading what I wrote you. If everyone would look around for just a moment, and I'm going to ask the alums to raise their hands. Just take a good look at that. It's a great time to be a lumberjack, and what those alums didn't know is what I thought we'd start off with was a singing of our alma mater. So if you all would stand, and one of you begin. Yeah, let's go there, right? Greetings, and thank you all for being here today. More importantly, thank you for your support of clean energy and this project. As others have noted today, this renewable energy microgrid provides reliable electricity for the airport and the United States Coast Guard Station, which are critical facilities for our community. While this microgrid is the first of its kind in California, as you know, microgrids like this will be a key element of the grid of the future. We are proud of the role that Cal Poly Humboldt, through the Schatz Energy Research Center, has played in developing this groundbreaking system. Our university is the third polytechnic in California. And our full name, for those who didn't know, is California State Polytechnic University, Humboldt, or Cal Poly Humboldt for short, and feel free to use any or all of the above. As part of this emphasis, we are expanding the university's infrastructure, and we are launching multiple new academic programs. Several of these efforts are directly linked to the themes at the center of today's celebration. First, we have initiated development of a renewable energy microgrid to serve the Cal Poly Humboldt campus. This system will provide resilient energy and electricity service to campus facilities using solar power and battery storage. Moreover, the system will be designed as a living laboratory, enabling Cal Poly Humboldt students to learn from it in their classes and other hands-on educational activities. At Cal Poly Humboldt, if you graduate, more than 95% of our graduates have had some hands-on educational experience. We truly are a learn by doing university long before we changed our name. This is something, very much something, that other campuses could adopt in the future by modeling us. The university is also launching new engineering, technology, and applied science programs, including an energy systems engineering major that will provide students with professional skills to design, build, and operate renewable energy, those microgrids, and other clean energy technologies. Some of the learning will take place in the new 20,000 square foot microgrid and sustainability center, which we are developing next to the current Schatz Center on campus right now. This new building will host a state-of-the-art microgrid lab designed to provide students with research opportunities and practical experience. Cal Poly Humboldt we currently rank 6th out of 23 campuses in the CSU with research dollars coming into the university. Think about that for just a moment. One of the smallest, one of the most. All of this new investment and activity, along with the existing expertise at the Schatz Energy Research Center and in the university's environmental resources and engineering program, positions Cal Poly Humboldt to be the state's leading university for education and research related to renewable energy microgrids. Working together with partners like the ones involved in the Redwood Coast Airport microgrid that are all here celebrating today, Cal Poly Humboldt will help develop the workforce for the clean and resilient 21st century energy systems we need. So it truly is a great time to be a lumberjack. Thank you all for what it is that you do. Have a great day.
Thank you, President Jackson. So our final speaker for today is Dr. Peter Lehmann, founding director of the Schatz Energy Research Center. Peter's involvement in renewable energy dates back to the 1970s, before it was cool. And he founded the Schatz Center along with Charles Chamberlain in 1989. He was recently inducted into the CEC's Energy Hall of Fame with a Lifetime Achievement Award. Although I will note that Lifetime Achievement Awards require that you be retired, so I'm not sure about it. And he is the principal investigator for this project. Peter has been a mentor to me and to many others. Peter, thank you for all your contributions to clean, renewable, and resilient energy.
Thanks, Arnie. That's a wonderful introduction. Good morning, everyone. It's really great to be here. One of the problems of being the last speaker is people steal all your lines before you get here. Especially you, Quin. But you're going to hear this again. It's worth hearing. This is a momentous occasion. We are ushering in a new and exciting era for the electric grid in California. As many people have already said, this is the first completely renewable front-of-the-meter, multi-customer microgrid in our state. It's a role model and a beacon to communities across the state who are striving to green their energy supply and bolster their resilience in the face of climate change. We, as other people have said, we wouldn't be here today without a strong and diverse team working together. Through the ups and downs of this project, and there were a few downs, all of us kept working together with our eyes fixed on a common goal. And here we are. We did it! I'd like to acknowledge those who made this happen. Thanks, California Energy Commission. They saw the strength of our vision for this renewable community microgrid, and they supported us with a $5 million EPIC grant. The Redwood Coast Energy Authority, they had a lot of courage to support this state-of-the-art system. They did it so they could deliver, as Richard said, they could deliver local renewable energy to their customers and provide critical resilience for our community. We couldn't have completed this project without a huge effort from PG&E. From across the entire company, people from all their divisions rallied to help us get to this day. Humboldt County and their aviation division, where are you, Cody? And Cody, they welcomed this project, they supported us all along, and they led us through the FAA crooked path to getting here today. Our vendors and consultants, Tesla for the PV battery system, Schweitzer Engineering Labs for the controls, the Energy Authority for CAISO market participation, and TRC for the business case analysis. They have all been stalwart team members. And proudly, we at the SHOT Center, supported by Cal Poly Humboldt, we've been the prime contractor and the technology integrator, and many of my colleagues at the center contributed to this success. I do want to give special mention to several people who have been the heart and soul of this work, who have spent nights, weekends, even midnights to bring us to this day. Nikki Avila and John Friskel of PG&E. Are you here, John? There he is. Dana Boudreau of RCA. Where are you, Dana? And my colleagues, Dave Carter and Jim Zolik at the SHOT Center. Where are you, Dave and Jim? They have been real heroes. Thanks, everyone on this list. It's been an honor to work alongside you. I said this project is a role model and a beacon. Here's why. When we started this project, PG&E had never allowed another party to energize a portion of their distribution line. Now they have. Those lines up there, right there, they deliver power for this microgrid. We had to work closely with PG&E to devise the control strategy, the safety protocols, and the cybersecurity to make this all work. When we started, there was no microgrid tariff in California, a tariff that sets the rules for operating a front-of-the-meter microgrid like this one. Working with PG&E, we invented one. Now, there's a community microgrid enablement tariff that's been adopted by the California Public Utilities Commission. When we started, the Federal Aviation Administration had never approved a microgrid at an airport in California. Now, they have. Last summer, we finally got FAA's approval. When we started, the Rural Utility Service of the U.S. Department of Agriculture had never funded a microgrid project. Now, they have. After a long application period, they approved a $6.5 million low-interest loan to RCA that funded more than half this microgrid. And I think, wow, that's an old beast. All these accomplishments and many more, and Quin mentioned some of the other speakers mentioned some, the first of their kind, have paved the way for others to follow our lead. That's why this microgrid is a model and a beacon. It's lighting the path to resiliency and clean power for communities all over California. And now to borrow from Quin, so now what? Where do we go from here? Is our climate problem solved? I think we know the answer to that one. Not even close. Let us, here in Humboldt County, be the beacon. We'll green our energy, more solar, offshore wind, and build in resilience. We can do this. And if Humboldt County can do it, California can do it. And if California can do it, our country can do it. Let's get to work. We have a planet to save. Thank you all. Thanks for coming here.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you to everyone who has been involved in this project. I'd like to ask everybody who has played some role in developing this project to either stand up if you're sitting or to raise your hand if not. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. So if you have played a role in supporting the financial part of the project, if you've played a role in supporting the operations part of the project, if you everyone from Sponsored Programs Foundation should be raising their hands. If you've played a role in the communications associated with this project. So I want to ask everybody who's been involved in some way to stand up or to raise your hand. And I think that just shows how much of a team effort this has truly been and how many people it takes to make this kind of a project a success. So thanks to all of you for all you've done to make this a reality. Before we wrap up, we have a few more things. First, I want to close with an acknowledgement for those involved in organizing this celebration. Maya Kelly of the Schatz Energy Research Center and Nancy Stevenson of RCEA were the core organizing team. They deserve special thanks and recognition, so thank you. I know how much work went into planning and implementing the event. Many others played important roles. I'm going to name a few, but there are many others who have been involved. So Madison Hoffacker and Paul Doherty of PG&E, Kathy Hudson of the Schatz Center, Mike Dronkers and Eileen Yu of Cal Poly Humboldt's marketing and communications team, and numerous others. So if you were involved in planning for or implementing any aspect of today's celebration, please raise your hand or stand up. A couple of other things before you leave. Don't forget to check in at the RCA booth for an event button. Don't want to go away without the very cool event buttons. In addition, I've been told that the public tour for today is full, but there are opportunities to participate in future tours. So if you're interested, you can sign up for future tours here. I probably should have said this at the beginning, but it's not too late, which is that there is sunscreen available at the booth. Day's not over. To close things out, I want to invite a representative of each of the partners to come up. We're going to do a ribbon cutting ceremony to finalize the event.